Hello everyone, I'm Mark. Welcome back to our channel. It's been a couple weeks since I made a video and I've been fairly busy, and I probably should have been taping some of what I was doing, but a lot of it I thought not very interesting. So I'm just going to kind of show you what I've been doing. I had a couple different projects going on. The first one I did was in my shop. The previous owner had built a room and he started drywall. I never did finish it off. So my goal was I wanted to finish it off so it didn't look so crappy. And I've got a lot of stuff to hang on the wall, you know, old drag racing stuff and posters and tags and everything. So I was wanting a way that I could put those on the wall and display them and get some enjoyment out of them. So this is what I'm going to show you first, and also I'm going to show you update what I've done so far on the Corvette. I've done quite a bit of work to it, and now I've got to the point I've got it. I'm probably going to start making videos of me putting it back together. So start off with, I'll show you what I did in the office, and I'll show you the vet next. So this, starting here, this is the entrance into my building. Kind of step back a little bit. You can kind of see this was already drywalled here. So I just took and painted it. I painted it light gray and dark gray with a red stripe around it. And you can see the wall's textured, and trying to get a straight line here on here, I thought I had it figured out. I used masking tape and put it on there, and I tried a sample area and it looked really good. So I did the whole thing. When I peeled the tape off, of course, the paint bled under the tape and it looked like crap. So I went to O'Reilly's and I bought some pinstriping tape and I just ran strips around it. I don't know if I really like that or not. I think I might take that back off and try to go in and actually hand finish that edge. But anyway, for now, that's what I've got finished off on that. And then I did hang some of my stuff up, some of the tags I have collected over the years. A lot of Illinois tags, so they're from Illinois. And then I've got several Florida tags. I've been in Florida almost 20 years. And then I've got some Illinois tags dating back in the 50s. And then I do have some Florida tags dating back into the 40s. You can see right here. And again, I got more tags here. I had a 1982 DeLorean, I believe it was, and that was a tag I had on it there in Illinois, BTTF 81. It was an 81, I guess. Back to the Future 81. Then I had a 76 Trans Am, gold and black with the T-tops, and I had that tag on it, and then a few other tags. And you can kind of see, you know, I finished on down this wall. There's that Ford sign. I've got a Peterbilt sign down here. I've got a couple around here somewhere that I made on a CNC plasma machine I had, and that's something else I've been messing with. I went to Harbor Freight and got me a nice little tool cabinet that's got a little work area on top of it. I just started moving some of my tools in here, and you see I just started getting them set up, and just a few odds and ends in here. I haven't gotten very far yet. I think the rest of these drawers are empty. I gotta finish pulling some tools out of here and somehow a couple other toolboxes and get them all organized in there where it's centralized. The way I had it before, I had like my sockets and stuff in this toolbox, and then on the other end of the shop, I had my combination wrenches. So if I need a wrench in a socket, I had to go to two different places. So now I'm going to try to keep it all centralized here. Of course, my fuel pump I restored. And then coming into the office, there's a couple other signs I made on that plasma table. Come in the office, of course, I drywalled this, and it's a smooth finish, so I was able to mask off the red stripe and not have to put pinstriping on it. I still got a few places where it bled through, but not bad. And then I started finishing off in here. I still got more to hang in here. I actually have a whole box of pictures and frames and stuff, and I just found them 2 days ago, so that I got to get them hung in here. I got things hanging in here like this. I got this from my brother. He's in the service, and he was actually over in Iraq, I believe, or Afghanistan, and he got me this flag. It was actually flew over a mission over Iraq, I believe it says. There's some pictures I actually got from Pepsi-Cola. they're old advertising pictures that they had, and they were shutting down an office and they were going to throw them away, so I got them. My daughter works for Pepsi, and of course some other things there. I've got a ton of die-cast cars like that I've got up on top the mezzanine here. Got a little small Unimat lathe a friend gave me. Microwave and a refrigerator in here. Something I haven't talked about before is when I moved to Florida, I became a police officer, and in 2018 I retired full-time from the police department as a sergeant over special operations, and I'm still currently employed there as a reserve officer, and my main job is installing all the new equipment in the vehicles, the new vehicles we get in, you know, the cages, the radios, the lights, all that stuff, and then also maintain it on the existing equipment. And I'm also qualified to drive all their big equipment, the forklifts, the big MRAP. We've got a couple of Humvees, an ambulance, and a regular Humvee that's armor plated that we use for SWAT, and I drive that. So, but anyway, I've still got some more things to hang up in there. I'll try to get more video after I get that done. So, onto the car. The main thing I was working on in the car right now is the interior. You can see I've got the, and I don't know how well this is going to bite up here, but I've got the whole dash out of it. I've got the console. I have the carpet and the seats out of it, the seat belts. I purchased some on a 77 I restored. I purchased some insulation. I talked about it I think in the previous video about the Vette, and it's not for a car, and I meant to get it down. I'll take you up and show you right now where it's at up here. It's not very thick. It's less than a 1/4 inch thick, and it watch, these steps are kind of steep, and it's got a foil backing on both sides of it, and then it's almost like bubble wrap inside. And I bought a big roll of it. You can see it here. I think it's about 4 foot tall. You can kind of see how thick it is. But it's got a insulation factor rating of R17. And so what I end up doing, I end up putting 3 layers down in the bottom of the car, and it works out really good. I did it on the 77, and if you're familiar at all with the C3 Vettes, you get a lot of heat up through the floor pan and on the firewall where your feet go, because of the exhaust. It goes right against the floor pans there. So I put this stuff on there, and it made a world of difference. You put your hand on the floor, you can't even hardly feel any heat at all. So I want to do it to this car too. So that's what I've done so far on the interior of the car. Exterior wise, I haven't done too much. I did have to do a little fiberglass repair on the nose here underneath here. I've got it all ground out. I've got it all glass back in. I've got it rough sanded down. I got to finish sanding it, and then I'll shoot it with some primer and some red paint, and that part will be done. I ordered a bunch of parts from Corvette Generation about 2 weeks ago. He just called me yesterday and said they're all in, so I'm going to run over there in a couple days, pick all that stuff up, bring it back over, and that I'll start putting some of that stuff together. And I'll make a video of that too. Like I said, I didn't show the taking apart of the dash and all the stuff. That's very boring, and you're fighting getting screws loose and stuff like that. It wastes a lot of time. So I thought it'd be better to show it once it's all apart, and as I'm putting it back together, it'll hopefully go back together smoother. What I can show you here so far, I've kind of got a mess here on this bench, but I've been slowly going through the gauges and stuff. I've got the speedometer here. It was sticky and gummy. I took it all apart, lubricated it, put it back together, and now it works really well. Next thing I'm going to do is the tach over here. And I had to buy a new cable for the tachometer because it's a mechanical tach, so it drives off the distributor. And I bought a block that's a right angle drive block that screws onto the distributor, comes out towards the driver's side front fender so that you don't kink that cable like it does from the factory. So hopefully it'll run smoother doing that too. I've got the dash panels here, on a 77 I did, it was a buckskin color, like a tan color interior. And I went in and bought the spray dye from Eckler's, and I sprayed it, and it looked beautiful, looked like brand new again. This dash looks very good. I cleaned it up. I took some of this blue coral upholstery cleaner, and I cleaned it really good, and it turned out really nice. I'm not going to spray stain any of this. The oil pressure gauge, I gotta check it out. I think there's an issue with it. I actually took the clock apart, wherever I put it here. I have so many parts covered up here, I want to try to keep it clean. But this clock didn't work. I took it apart and lubricated it, and now it works fine. I left it plugged into my power supply for probably 3 hours, and it kept perfect time for 3 hours. So I'm really glad about that. These clocks never work in these Vettes when you get them. And you can buy, you know, new electric clocks and stuff, because this is actually a mechanical clock. It's electric, but it's mechanical. And then I got to clean this piece up yet, and I got to clean this piece up. They're pretty good. I think they're just dirty. They just need to be cleaned. This piece appears to me like the previous owner. It's brand new, so it's reproduction, but you can see it's brand new, and which is good and bad, because my plan is to put a 4-speed in this car. So I don't know if this piece will come out and I can still use this piece, or I have to buy a whole new piece. They look the same, except this is all open, and then over here it's got the shift pattern on it instead of the you know, the automatic markings on it. So we'll see how that is. But that'll be something else I'll be showing, you know, putting a 4-speed transmission in one of these cars. It's got an automatic in it right now. So that's pretty much, oh, one other thing, I almost forgot what I was doing yesterday. If you watched our very first video, we did kind of a tour of our shop, and I showed, sitting right here was my 4-foot by 8-foot CNC plasma table. And I had a little business before we bought this place, and I did cutting for other people on it. And one of the guys I did cutting for, he builds like the jacked up trucks with a big, you know, 20-inch lift on them and the big tires and all that stuff. And I was making different brackets for him. Well, when we closed our shop down there and moved up here, I was still going to continue to cut stuff for him. But this building, it doesn't have enough power coming to this building. The problem is, you know, we're on 5 acres here, and this building sits all the way in the back of my property, and the power comes into the property at the front, and that's where the main power meter is and everything. And then they buried wire from there back to this building, and it's probably 550 feet or something. And for some reason, and I don't know why, but the guy that owned this and built this was a licensed electrician. He had a business for doing electrician. He's got a 100-amp box in the building here, over there in the corner, way over there in the corner. And when I looked at the building, I thought, oh, cool, well, I'll have plenty of power to run everything I need. Well, I hooked up the plasma table, and between the plasma arc running and the compressor running, if they both kicked on at the same time, it wouldn't kick the breaker, but it would draw so much voltage that the plasma arc would shut off, because it detected low voltage, it shuts off. And so I'd be in the middle of cutting, and one of the things I was cutting was these flags here. This metal flag. Okay, and it's fairly big. It's probably 18 by 24 or something like that. And it has a lot of cutting in it. So it would be cutting along and it'd be doing fine, and the one time the compressor and you know, the plasma would kick on at the same time, because every time it would cut something out and move, it shuts off, comes over, turns back on, and plunges in and cuts. Well, it'd be doing really good on most of these straight cuts, and then when we got in here, was doing a lot more cutting, and it's starting and stopping. The plasma would shut off, but the plasma table would keep running, so you'd think it was still cutting, but it's not. And So I actually had to go back on, I cut out like a dozen of these flags at that time. I had to go back in and actually manually cut out some of the stars and stuff and lines here and things manually with my manual plasma that didn't, they didn't cut with the other plasmas. So, but anyway, this guy's been bothering me a lot to cut parts for him. And I kept telling him, I just, right now I don't have the power to the building. And I was thinking about, well, I'll get a rotary screw compressor. They pull less amperage. They don't have that turning off and on, constantly kicking in that big surge. But they're like $5,000. And I told him, I said, I don't know if that will cure the problem or not. And I don't want to spend $5,000 on a compressor, even though I'd love to have a rotary screw compressor. But I didn't want to do that. And then it still didn't work right. And I still can't cut parts for him. So I looked into having all new wire ran back to the building. And it's going to be like $6,000 to run the conduit and all the wire I need and the breakers and everything. And I just, right now, I don't want to spend the money on it when that was the only thing I needed it for. All the rest of the stuff I have in here runs fine on the power I have in here. All my welders, my machines, everything. So last week, I just jokingly, he called me again or texted me again and said, hey, when can you get these parts for me? And I just told him, I said, I can't. And I just jokingly said, hey, you know, I'll just sell you the machine. And we got to talking, we worked out a price, and I sold him the machine. So I delivered it to him yesterday. He lives about 2 hours from here. So anyway, now I got a spot there in the garage. I think I'm gonna move my tractor, because I have the tractor parked over here. And if I want to do any projects, I got to pull the tractor out. So I'm going to pull the tractor up here now, leave it parked here. I can go out that door then, and I'll have all this space over here opened up for any, you know, projects I'm working on. So that's what I've been doing here the last couple of weeks. I'm sorry I haven't made videos of this stuff. I just didn't feel like it would be video worthy and anybody even want to watch it. So I'm excited about getting back on the car and starting to put things back together. I think that'll be a lot more interesting than taking it apart. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I appreciate you guys' support and watching our channel. If you do me a favor, if you like it, so hit subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with your friends. And I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.